YouTube, what's going on, y'all? It's Twin Roots 420 here, man, and I'm back with another another RC edition of my channel. Um, right now it's out with the old, which if y'all remember, it was the Sprint 2 Flux. I mean, I still use the car, but now this is my beater that I drift outside with or whatever. But I went and upgraded to a Sakura D4, and man, am I happy with it, um I got a bunch of different upgrades for it, and I'll go down the list right now for y'all of some of the things that I have put into it. First off, it's a carbon fiber chassis and a carbon fiber top plate. This is the top plate right here. The top plate's all carbon fiber. So you got a carbon fiber top plate, carbon fiber bottom plate. It also came with carbon fiber rear shock tower, and it came with carbon fiber front shock tower, but I no longer use it because I upgraded my shocks from the standard, one shock over here, one shock over here, to a mono shock setup. And what that allows in drifting is for your car to sway or to shift weight. It works excellent. I love the way it performs. It also came with carbon fiber bumper plate. Now some of the upgrades that I did to it, like I said, I got the front mono shock system. Give y'all a better view. And what that basically does is it makes my two front tires almost like a seesaw action. I still get in the front, I still get my spring, up and down. But now, instead of the two shocks fighting against each other, now they just work, in conjunction with each other. So I got the front mono shock set up. Some of the other things that I also grabbed was a 3 Racing Sakura D4 slide steering system. Also grabbed the rear Exion, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, anti-camber grip mixing linkage for the D4 Sakura. And I also grabbed the rear camber mixing linkage for the D4. Now, those are two separate mono shock systems for the D4 for the rear. So you have one that is set up over here. You see, you got one shock right there. Same thing on the other side. You have one shock right there. And what that allows is your camber. You see how it rolls? So as you're taking corners and your car shifts in weight, it just rolls with it. Now the thing about the setup in the back is that there's no spring. It doesn't go up and down. Basically, this thing just goes side to side. It shifts. You know, so as you're taking a corner and the weight transferred, let's say to the outer side, you know, it'll shift like that. You turn, take a different corner, your car will shift like that. So it's a balancing act more than, you know, a spring up and down. And you know, ever since adding this monoshock setup right here was a separate monoshock setup than this. Like, you have to buy those two separate. Other upgrades that I did was the aluminum battery mount, and I don't know how good y'all gonna be able to get it, but I got the slide steering rack. Which is basically a straight bar on bearings controlled by your servo. So the servo will move the straight bar back and forth that's on bearings, so it's nice and smooth, and turns the tires. Now the thing about this D4, which I love, is the steering angle that is able to achieve. And that's one hell of a steering angle. I could get nowhere near that with the Sprint 2 Flux. I still have other pieces that I'm waiting on. You know, like an aluminum back shock tower. I'm also gonna change out the rear lower A-arms. I'm gonna change them out to Yeah Racing ones, the adjustable ones. I'm also gonna change out my steering hubs. I'm gonna change those out to the 3 Racing brand. Some of the components that I'm using in here, it's a brushless setup. I believe that's a Taser 4000 kV motor, brushless. I have a 60 amp, well, as of now I have a 60 amp Taser ESC. I strap my capacitor up there. I'm running with the high voltage digital steel gears, heatsink case, high speed, high torque servo by Savox. This servo set me back a pretty penny, but well worth it. I mean, the reaction and speed from this servo is ridiculous. Right now I'm running, it's a 2-cell battery. It's a 400 milliamp, but it's only a 20C. I plan on upgrading that to at least a 50C. The gear ratio that I have on this car right now, it's a 92 spur and a 24 pinion. I also have a LiPo. Hold on, let me see if I can grab it right here, let you know exactly what it is. It's an Integy LiPo voltage checker and warning buzzer. Now what that does is you plug your battery into there, and that's going to tell you how much juice you have in your battery. Now the other thing that thing is going to do is, if you're running your car, right, and you've been running for, let's say, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, and you know your ESC and servo is starting to draw too much energy from the battery, this thing is going to beep. It's going to beep loud as hell, letting you know that your LiPo is getting too short on voltage. With LiPo batteries, you got to be careful. If you draw too much energy out of it, it's not going to let you charge it. It's going to mess up the battery. Some of the things that I also grabbed on here, you know, just for dress up and keeping everything nice and neat, was I grabbed some Yeah Racing. See if I can get them in the center there. I grabbed some Yeah Racing. There it is. I grabbed some Yeah Racing wire clamps for the motor. So I got one clamped in, you know, to the motor side, and I got one clamped in to the ESC side. But all in all, I'm very happy with the car. I'm very happy with the upgrades. It rides super smooth, and it's a big difference from the HPI Sprint 2. I mean, nothing against the HPI Sprint 2. It's just, you know, this Sakura D4 right here was shit all over it. But anyway, that's the new toy I'm working with. It's my Sakura D4. And some of the upgrades that I had done to it. Once again, the upgrades. Front monoshock system. Slide steering rack. Anti-camber mixing linkage. And the Exion camber mixing linkage. So that's it for now. I'll be back with another video shortly to let y'all see how it runs. I'm just waiting on the body. I ended up grabbing a Honda CRX body to throw on here. I also got my stealth body mounts that I'm going to put on there, so they ain't going to be none of these poles sticking up through the body. I'm trying to make the car look, you know, as realistic as possible. I got a couple of mufflers that I'm going to throw on the bottom of the back spoiler to make things look more realistic, and we keep it moving from there. So that's the Sakura D4. Like I said, big upgrade from the HPI Sprint 2. Alright, y'all, this Twin Roots. Y'all already know what it is, man. Keep them drifting. Peace.